What's up? What's up? We've got a best of 7 today. At least I hope it's a best of 7. That was what was agreed upon the other day. We see one of the players asking bo7 question mark. That player is the pink Protoss Timbo Slice. And his opponent, the red Zerg, spawning in the top left, confirming C. It is Yellow Jello. So yeah, like I said, ZVP, PVZ, not a matchup we are strangers to. We've seen these two go up against each other before, and it's pretty evenly matched, I would say. Protoss obviously is Timbo's off race, but he has been playing a lot of it in the past few months, let's say. So at this point, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much his main race almost. It's not exactly on par with his Zerg, perhaps, but it's pretty good. Let's see how it goes here. Both players going for an early expand, not too crazy there. Timbo gonna be walling up the front. First Overlord gonna peek on in and then go to the back here, which Yellow Jello does a lot, and I do not quite understand it. Like, you got these safe spots over here, which is usually better because you see the front of your opponent's natural. You can just see like what kind of units he's got. Not really sure why he likes to go for this. Both players just macroing up right now. Looks like a third coming on down for the Zerg player. This Queen's popping up off-timed again, which doesn't seem like the biggest of deals, but like if you're just working on your macro cycle, you go, oh, Queen here, inject, Queen here, inject. Now it's like off time, so this one injected, I don't know, 5-10 seconds earlier, and it makes everything a little more sloppy. Speaking of sloppy, bit of a supply block right now. Just a few seconds. There's that Overlord pops on out. Over on Timbo's side of things, just what we've come to expect from Timbo's Protoss. We've got a robotics facility on the way. I will bet my life on it that the first thing he makes is an observer. As well as a Twilight Council on the way. Gonna probably get charge out of that bad boy, and then probably gonna see a Templar Archives in the near future. Get some High Templars, morph them into Archons, use some for Storms, etc. We've also got a cannon in the front, just for a little extra safety. Not too useful, but for some peace of mind. Now, robotics facility did complete, not producing anything out of it just yet, which is definitely a mistake. I mean, look at all his money. Focusing maybe too heavily on killing this stalker. Look how much money he is floating. But there is that observer I was talking about. So do not lose that bet, unfortunately. And Yellow Jello once again supply blocked. Now, if you're gonna fly in a sacrificial Overlord, make sure you have the free supply. It does have 4 Overlords on the way, but this is a pretty hefty supply block. Good, I don't know, 15 or so seconds that was. Player on the way, we've got 1-1 upgrades. Now, this is not too common to see the carapace upgrades. That tells me he is gonna focus on Zerglings and perhaps Ultralisks. Normally, if you go for Roaches, Hydras, Lurkers, you would get both attack upgrades. Again, what is this saturation? Why are drones going from here to here and from here to here? It makes no sense. Observer, flying on in. Gonna... Timbo even commenting on that as well. Goofy ass drone rallying. Yep. Just as I was saying. But kind of showing his hand there. Now, if Yellow Jello is putting the puzzle pieces together, he's thinking, wait, why does Timbo know that? Why would he be commenting on that? He must have an observer. And no response to that really from Yellow Jello. We don't see his blind spore crawlers that he usually goes. We don't see even any overseers, just to kind of deny that information from this observer. But we are seeing a Hydralisk den, which is a little odd, because as I was saying before, you don't usually go for Carapace upgrades in this matchup. But yeah, Lingbane Hydra, obviously a very strong unit composition, and then transitioning into a Lurkers later on, which he is going for now. Once again, these upgrade orders, I don't like it. Should be switched. The range upgrade a little more useful most of the time. Timbo now going for a pretty sizable little attack here. Lots of Zealots and Stalkers. What does Yellow Jello have? Not a whole lot. Just Lings and Hydras. Couple Banelings, gonna be very important, and it looks like, how's their connection? Oh, well, it was okay, and more importantly, it forced Timbo to be running those Zealots around. They weren't doing damage, so Yellow Jello does get the cleanup. It was a little scary, I would say. I mean, only, what was that, 2 or 3 Banelings? I think it could have gone better for Timbo, but now he is almost 50 supply behind. Worker count 69, nice, from Yellow Jello. 54 from Timbo Slice. And Yellow Jello now going for a bit of an attack of his own. He's got +2 finishing up in about 20 or so seconds. Sorry, that was +1 attack, +2 armor on the way as well. Groove Spines, that's the range upgrade for the Hydra. It's going to be finishing up just as I finish that sentence. And here comes Yellow Jello, about 10 seconds from his upgrades finishing, and I do not know if Timbo is going to be able to hold this. 3 Archons, that's about all he has in this army, and I think this is gonna be curtains for game numero uno. Timbo with 2,000 minerals in the bank doesn't know what to do. He has the warp gates, but I don't think it matters. Oh, even canceling that warp in by destroying that pylon. GG gets called, and Yellow Jello takes pretty easy game number 1. Alrighty, folks, we are back with game number 2 in this PVZ series. And we are looking at the main base of the man currently down 0-1. It is the pink Protoss, Timbo Slice. And his opponent in the top right, winning that game number 1 fairly easily, requesting a bit of a break in between those games. Perhaps had some explosive diarrhea. It is the red Zerg, yellow Jello. So yeah, not really too much to break down about that first game. Kind of just typical Timbo stuff. Didn't have enough units. He had the money, didn't have the units. That first attack could have done more, but perhaps was wasting too much DPS by running those zealots around, trying to dodge the banelings. And then, of course, the counterattack from yellow Jello just was too strong. Game number 2. Both players opening up with a pretty fast expansion once again. Not sure why that APM tab popped up, but we do see yellow Jello playing pretty fast. Not sure what there is to be doing right now. Maybe just spamming or something, because, like, yeah, there's nothing really to micro. Anyways, spawning pool moments away from finishing. And then we should be seeing double queens. This time they are synced up. So that's nice. And this time the Overlord is in a bit of a better position as well. Now, this isn't exactly safe, but if a stalker tries to shoot it from here, it can run this way, or even run down here and probably shouldn't die. And of course, it provides that vision of the front of the ramp there. For your orders. So it looks like yellow Jello making these micro adjustments. Not sure why, to be honest. Maybe he was secretly reviewing some tape. But yeah, a bit of a cleaner opening this time around with that synced up queen timing and it's Overlord. On the Protoss side of things, we do have that forge sealing up the wall. The Zealot has the door. And then another photon cannon for some defenses, which is never a bad idea, but it's kind of a waste of money, especially if you know your opponent probably isn't going to go for anything too aggressive or crazy. So you could save a little bit of money by skipping out on that. We do once again have that robotics facility, as well as the Twilight Council. And there's that observer once again. And we do have an Overlord over here that can fly in, which he is doing so as we speak. Third on the way for yellow Jello. Curious that he takes the front location. That is this triangle setup. Not sure what's the inspiration behind that. He is working on these cooling tower debris. And once that falls, I believe it's going to block this path fully. Does lose a poor little Zergling there. That's so sad. Stalker gonna be shooing away this Overlord. It might get away, actually. Maybe not, but gets the scout off, and this time yellow Jello not fully supply blocked, but well, kind of, yeah. And Overlord's still quite a ways away. So again, bit of a mistake there. Creep spread, not really doing a whole lot just yet. He is focusing a little more on that now. And Here's that Overlord I was talking about. Oh, if he was microing that a little better, he shouldn't have lost that, but not the hugest of deals, of course. But yeah, these bases really need to be connected. And yeah, just macroing up right now. Yellow Jello up to 51 workers, still producing them, of course. Observer gonna spot all that. And this time, saturation, well, the main base is only 13 out of 16, but that's okay. Some Lings actually doing some harassment there. Does get a little bit of hull damage onto that Stalker, so that's something. These probies, what are you doing? Oh no, that's a lot of lost mining time. Uh-oh. 1,600 minerals in the bank for Timbo Slice. That is what we expect from Timbo. Don't know how we can get him to fix this habit of his, but it's no bueno, I tell you what. Hydralisk Den is the tech of choice once again for Yellow Jello, and once again he is going for that speed before range, which I always say it's the wrong order. Shouldn't matter too much, but range typically the better choice. Again, these bases need to be joined by creep. Yes, it's only a small distance, but why not? The rest of the creep chugging along pretty nicely. Going for that fourth location here, which kind of spreads you a little thin. Not sure why not just go for this one first. It's right next to your third. You're already, walled off here, so your opponent would have to come this way anyways. It just kind of feels like this is kind of stretching yourself a little too thin. Yellow Jello going for the attack, perhaps, which is a questionable timing. He doesn't have his range for Hydras just yet. He does have the +1 melee and Carapace. Not sure again why he went for the Carapace, but here he goes. Groove Spine's 10 seconds away from finishing. He's gonna go for the natural base. Now, getting kind of clogged up, but the Banelings are going, well, not really. Timbo going for maybe an accidental flank there? I don't know. Maybe it was purposeful, but that was a very good engagement there. Sort of a pincer attack. Don't know if that was truly the intention, but it did work out. Minimal losses there from Timbo's side of things, so he is going for a counter attack now. Yellow Jello is in a spot of bother right now. The Baneling hits pretty decent on the Zealots, but there's not a whole lot left behind that. He is forced to evacuate this third base. Most likely going to be going down. Hydralisks, not really. Okay, that was kind of odd. Half of his Hydras were just chilling in the back. But the third does go down. Timbo's going to vacate the premises. And a small little victory there from Timbo Slice. He is still trailing 30 supply, but taking out that base is pretty good. Took out a few drones. How do I see that? Only 3, not the end of the world, but taking out the base, obviously, pretty nice. And that buys him some breathing room there. Both players going to be sitting on 3 bases for the next minute or so. And that's always going to favor the Protoss a little bit. As Zerg, you tend to want to have at least 1 extra base on your opponent. Yellow Jello now going for another attack. Timbo going on out to greet him, and that's going to repel the Zerg player. Army supply is favoring the Zerg just a bit, but Timbo does have the great equalizer. These high Templars, those are so scary. 3 Archons in the natural base. We're dealing with, I think, Overlord and a Changeling or something. In terms of upgrades, we've got +2 melee for the Zerg, +1 range, and +1 carapace. For the Protoss, we've got +2 weapons, +1 armor. So barely even there. Attack upgrades are going to be more useful for Protoss. And of course, the armor for Zerg less useful just because Protoss units hit so hard. Timbo has gotten himself quite a formidable army. We do see that that supply there has caught up. Yellow is leading quite significantly in workers, 68 in that department. Could use one more. And he does bust down the rocks himself. He was working on those towers, but he is going to be the one to break that down. Not sure why he left this one. But we do have lurkers on the field as well now. Only 2, however, and they do not have their hive upgrades just yet. Roof spine's about halfway, a little more than halfway done. And we've got +3 melee, +2 ranged finishing up as well. So Yellow did remake that 3rd base. He's sitting on a pretty handsome 4-base saturation. Timbo just completed his, not saturated just yet. We see he is trailing 25 workers. That's not the hugest of deals because Protoss army units rather, do pack quite a wallop. These lurkers, however, are going to be very difficult to contest with. And let's see what, if anything, Timbo decides to do against these. Dropping some storms, which are decent, but these lurkers dealing so much damage. Storms kind of just tickling them, really, and Timbo losing almost his entire army to the lurkers. I am not sure why he took that fight. The supply absolutely plummeting there, down to 73. The red Zerg player, Yellow Jello, almost 100 supply up against his opponent, and that was abysmal, quite frankly. We're gonna see another game end just like that. Yellow Jello, 2-0. Welcome back. This is game number 3 in this best of 7 series. It is currently 2-0 in favor of not this guy, Timbo Slice, but this guy, Yellow Jello. Yeah, a little bit better of a game number 2, but still not really that exciting. Kind of saw lurkers do lurker things, and of course Timbo kind of just YOLOing into them. I mean, I get it, lurkers are difficult to deal with, but that certainly was not the right choice. Now here we have a bit of a deviation here from Yellow Jello. We do see a pool first. I think that was at 16 supply, so not terribly early. Not really early enough to do any sort of crazy aggression. Also, we don't see any gases, so not going to be a speedling rush. Looks like it was just a safety build, which is kind of odd. Timbo, not really one to cheese. And Timbo just doing his normal opening here, gateway into Nexus. And yeah, pool is done. We've got 2 Zerglings in production, as well as an extra drone. Where's the queen? Hello? He's got a lot of money, but... Hello? Why was the queen so late? I don't... What? 2 lings making their way across the map. Maybe another 2? Make that 4 lings? So they might be able to get a little bit done. This zealot is slightly delayed. I think there was a slight supply block there. So these lings, let's see if they're going to be able to get any damage. I doubt it. Just going to be a little annoying, but Zealot's going to pop out, and that should be enough to kill them? If Yellow Jello doesn't really manage his Zerglings, which he does okay with, I guess. Oh! Zealot does go down, but the second one, it comes out, clean that up, so that's done. And I'm not sure why Yellow Jello is just trickling these Zerglings 2 at a time, but hold the phone. He's got 8 behind it over there, and speed about 20 or so seconds away. However, Timbo does have his wall up. That early game, a little skirmish, gonna be favoring the Protoss player just a smidge. Here come the Zerglings. That's about 10 of them. Let's see how they do. We do have a Stalker in the back here providing supporting fire. This Zealot can do this all day. And these Zerglings kind of just wasting themselves. I don't know. This ain't it, Chief. The Zealot might go down. Does go down, but... So? That was a pretty terrible commitment there from Yellow Jello. Barely damaging these buildings just a tiny bit. That's not really going to matter a whole lot. They're going to regenerate their shields. So early game here going quite well for the pink Protoss player. And we take a look at the units lost. Yep, it has widened quite a bit, almost not more than double in favor of the Protoss there. We do have that observer taking a look at things. It does see that there is no lair, and that is pretty significant. 4.5 minutes in, no lair yet. Third is also quite delayed, so Yellow Jello did sacrifice a lot of economy to go for that attack, and it just wasn't it. Now he is starting to drone back up. These queens kind of in a position to maybe go for this observer. I'm not sure why they're all over here. He doesn't have any detection, none on the way either. That's a little weird. We've got more gateways coming on down for Timbo Slice. That is 4 in production, in addition to his, what is that, 2? So going up to 6. Got the Robo, got the Twilight Council. And we should be seeing a 3rd relatively soon, unless he goes for a crazy attack of his own. Charge did complete. Blink being researched now. And now finally, Yellow Jello is getting that layer upgrade about halfway done there. We do have a single Evo, second one on the way. But yeah, it just feels like Yellow Jello kind of a step behind because of that early game. And here comes Timbo actually going for a bit of an attack of his own. Mostly Zealots. We've got a single Stalker and a single Immortal in the mix. That's not gonna... Well, I was gonna say the Immortal isn't too useful because there's no roaches, but you know what? There is nothing for Yellow Jello, so GG gets called. Another quick game there. Welcome back. This is game number 4 in this series, and this guy here in the top right, the pink Protoss, he did get a point for himself on the board. It is Timbo Slice. And his opponent losing that last one, but winning the first 2, still up 2-1 in this best of 7 series. It is the red Zerg, yellow Jello. So far, all 3 games have been pretty quick, decisive, one-sided. Hopefully these guys can show us a little more back and forth, a little more action, some better games. Yeah. The pool first last game from Yellow Jello just wasn't it, and then trickling in Zerglings 2 at a time. Kind of just wasting them and then over committing to that wall and just really couldn't recover. Then caught with his pants down when Timbo went for his attack. And that was all she wrote. That brings us here to game number 4 on Post Youth. Interesting thing about this map is we do have the in-base expansion, which has the half gold minerals. So quite a good decision to get that expansion relatively quickly. We want to at least saturate these gold minerals ASAP as possible. Timbo Slice getting his Nexus as well. Of course, it is going to be a little bit behind his opponent. That's usually the case. And yeah, let's see what happens with this extra mineral income for both players. Do they decide to go for some kind of aggression? Are they gonna change it up in terms of unit composition? We shall see. We do have link speed being researched, 2 queens in production, off timed once again. And it's going to be a fast Twilight Council here from Timbo Slice. This Overlord doesn't spot the Nexus, but does poke in a smidge and sees it there. And that's all Yellow Jello wanted to confirm. Pokes in half an inch, sees it, backs on out. I like that. And Timbo doing the right thing there, transferring some workers. You're going to get probes on the gold minerals. 2 Zerglings, just going to be running around. Taking a look to see if there are any cheeky shenanigans from Timbo Slice. We do have the benefit of God mode. We can see everything, and we know there is nothing peaky going on. But Yellow Jello just dotting his I's, crossing his T's, doing his due diligence. Running around with these 2 little speedy boys. And back on the Protoss side of things, we've got Charge being researched, and curiously enough, no robotics facility this time around. Just an extra gateway. Going up to 4 gateways, that's a little too little for 2 bases with some gold minerals. Not sure what's the idea here. We do see he is floating a lot of money once again. Just Timbo Tings, eh? 3rd base just completed for Yellow Jello. Gonna be saturating that shortly, hopefully, but again, these rallies, like what? So these 2 bases are going to the 3rd. And the 3rd was... Oh, okay, he fixed it. But before, it was going to the main. Anyways, Timbo warping in a lot of Zealots. So it looks like he's just going to go for a Zealot attack? I mean, he doesn't have any other tech, not even a Forge. So what is happening here? It's a little weird. 2 more gateways and a 3rd base, so he's not going for anything too aggressive here. honestly a little confused what he is doing. Lots of zealots though. So, we're going to see some kind of attack. I mean, if he hits relatively soon, it could be bad news bears for the Zerg player, who doesn't really have a whole lot right now. Just some Zerglings working away on the rocks, which is pointless. They do shift their focus to that newly... I was going to say newly completed, but it's not completed. Newly... producing? Whatever. But that is a lot of zealots here for Timbo Slice, and yello just made a big round of drones. He's up to 58. 31 probes on the side of Timbo Slice. The zealot's just gonna walk right past the Zerglings. The Zerglings still working on the rocks. That is not important right now, yello. Yello once again doing too much. Look how much is on his production tab. No units on the field. Another quick game as GG gets called and Timbo tying up the score. Welcome back. We are all tied up 2 apiece. This is game number 5 here in this best of 7 series. At least it's not a one-sided bop either way, although the games have kind of been looking that way. This is going to be the main base of the red Zerg player in the bottom right, yello. And his opponent equalizing the score with 2 victories in the last 2 games. It's the pink Protoss Timbo Slice sending out a rather early probe. Now, is this just a scout? Looks like it. Kind of curious. Can he block it? No. Nope. Not going to be able to do so. I'm not sure why he went for that scout. Maybe he anticipated that his opponent would be going for some kind of a cheeky build to try to swing the momentum back in his favor. He spots the expansion and turns around. Doesn't even need to go into the man base. So we see 0 vision there. And yeah, the scouting just was lacking for yello there in the last game. Should have had an overlord at the front of the Protoss base, or a Zergling sitting there just to alert him if there is an attack coming his way. Kind of just got caught with his pants down once again. Let's see if we see any sort of aggression here for Timbo in this game number 5. If he decides to switch it up, maybe go for Stargate, Dark Templars, I don't know. And over on the side of yello, will he show us anything different? Maybe Roaches, Ravagers, Nidus, Aspire? We'll have to wait and see, as the natural just completing 2 queens on the way. Looks like they are fairly even timed. Looks like the main queen maybe just a couple seconds earlier, but that's fine. We do have... Wait, I thought we had Zerglings. Looks like nah. We do have a Roach Warren on the way as well, and in fact, Yellow Jello skipping Ling Speed, as we see. No upgrades for either player, but more importantly, no Ling Speed in production. So I'm going to be focusing all the gas on the roaches. It does have double gas in the main base, forsaking some mineral income, as we see only 11 out of 16 there. 8 out of 16 in the natural. So, Yellow Jello, he has plans for a roach attack. 8 roaches in production. Is that going to work out for him? I think he's got a good chance because Timbo rarely makes too many units in the early game. Just a single zealot right now and a stalker behind this. Oh, but he does have 2 more being produced in the main base, and Blink going to be the first upgrade from that Twilight Council, as we see no charge. But here comes Yellow Jello. He will be there momentarily. Now, can a single zealot and 3 stalkers defend this? Especially if they're not all together. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit dicey. And there is no cannon. There is no shield battery. These roaches going to take out the pylon, and that's going to depower one of these gateways. That is very important. Timbo doesn't really have a whole lot, and losing another stalker there. That is dicey. I think you got to pull probes if you want a chance at this. But Timbo, his crisis management kind of lacking right now. Not sure what to do, kind of just running around, trying to buy time for some more war-bins. And now he decides, is the time to go. Go with everything. Probes being forced to fight as well. So many of them are going to go down. Looks like he should get a cleanup, but at what cost? Actually, not even. Maybe if he warped in, he could have cleaned it up, but still. Massive losses. And that's going to be GG for game number 5. Here we are, folks. Potentially the final game here. This is the main base of the man down 2-3. It is the pink Protoss Timbo Slice. His opponent in the bottom right with a cheeky Roach Rush. Game number 5. Yellow Jello. So, Yellow Jello on point, match point. Let's see if he decides to go for some aggression once again. Just going to be a hatch first, not too surprising there. But this map does have that pocket third base. So both players can, of course, go for a very quick and easy and safe 3 bases. Sometimes players will opt for the forward base first, either this one or this one, because they know that they can take this anytime for minimal risk. We'll see if that comes into play. Timbo going for the gateway core before Nexus. So a little bit scared, perhaps. We did see him go gateway Nexus in previous games. This map is a little bit awkward here with the wall and of course these rocks over here, so you do have to wall off this location and this location. Cybercore does finish and he starts up a zealot, so didn't have to wait for the core. Not sure why he did it that way. There is no aggression coming his way just yet, so it is fine. Gonna have double queens and speed on the way now. And there's that third base I was talking about. He does go for the safe pocket third first, and that's a totally valid choice as well. Queens pop out, inject, and yeah, if there's any criticism I have is that maybe use one or even both of the queens to drop a tumor first. Creep, of course, so important for Zergs. So I don't want to get that out pretty early. We have an Overlord here at the corner edge of the Protoss base, so it can fly on in a little later, but again, no vision of the front here. We do have that Overlord hidden, tucked away in the back here, but not going to be able to see anything coming out here. We do see a deviation here from Timbo's slice. It's going to be a Stargate Oracle on the way. It does pop out, and Yellow Joe's going to spot that right now. But he does not know that there is already an Oracle. That Oracle making its way across the map right now. 2 Spore Crawlers being started off. But this Oracle should have a few seconds to get some kills. Let's see how the micro is on both sides. We see the first little skirmish here of the game. And 2, 3, 4 probes going down, but you gotta get out of there. Ooh! It's cutting it close, but he does escape. 4 kills, taking a lot of damage there, so that's gonna have to back away and probably just be forgotten about for the rest of the game. Wall still not done yet. This is making me nervous. Against the Zerg, you kind of want a wall. Got a handful of Lings making their way across the map, and this could be really bad because what does Timbo have? He just has this single Zealot. 2 Stalkers aren't going to be too useful. 2 Oracles now. One of them was that weakened one. Looks like these Lings just working away on rocks again. I don't know why Yellow Gel loves to harass rocks. But Oracles, they're... What? Just gonna stop there, okay. Allows his opponent some time to respond, get his units in position. And not really gonna be able to find too much damage. These Lings... Hello? You've got units over here, Timbo. What is going on? These Oracles just chilling now. Lings did get a lot of damage, more than they should have done onto this Nexus. A bit of a mistake there from Timbo, but the Oracle's still alive. I don't think they got any additional damage. Yeah, still those initial 4 on that one Oracle. But it has put a little bit of fear into the heart of Yellow Jello. We see his worker count not quite as high as it could be. And he did, of course, have to commit some resources to those Spore Crawlers. And it's going to be Hydralisks once again. And now Timbo securing his 3rd base, but a kind of awkward wall. This is certainly not a full wall. And there are many paths which your opponent can come through there, or like there, or even there, and of course up there. So this is a very awkward defensive setup for Timbo. He is doing some more harassment with these oracles. Not too shabby there. I think he got a couple creep tumors, maybe a baneling or two, and keeping those 2 oracles alive, that is the most important thing. They can continue to be annoying in the future, drop revelations, even stasis traps. We never really see that out of Timbo, but it is, of course, an option. Worker count fairly even, army count fairly even. So things are shaping out to be a decent game, hopefully. Yellow getting that 4th base in that forward location. And he's got a handful of Hydras out here. Does have that muscular augments completed. Now going for the ranged. Timbo with a lot of zealots, and that's about it. He's got some High Templars here, I guess. They don't have much energy yet. Should note that the new shield battery, you can overcharge it to grant energy to your units, even your buildings. I doubt Timbo even knows how to do that, but that could be useful to give these guys an extra storm or two. Now looks like Yellow moving on out with an attack. Lots of Lings and Hydras, and what is that? A single Baneling in the mix as well. Oh, I heard him morphing some more there, and that's a little bit scary. Does Timbo have any idea this is coming? I don't think so. He doesn't have that observer that he usually does because he went for the Stargate first. So here comes Yellow now, and whoa, what's gonna happen? It's gonna come down to the Baneling connections as well as the storms. Both players kind of like ships in the night. They're just right next to each other, posturing? Question mark? Where do those oracles go? Here they are on that 4th base, kind of sacrificing themselves to get some damage done. And here is the attack. Oh! The storms was pretty big. The Baneling shots were pretty big. So we've kind of got a stalemate here. Both players suffering massive losses. Looks like, oh no, these High Templars. And they do go for a panic merge, and it looks like it's gonna go down. But there's just a few zealots and a single Hydra left. Both players forced to kind of just back away, lick their wounds. Timbo with so much money in the bank once again. Oh my god, Timbo. But at the same time, Yellow, well, he had a lot as well, but he just made 10 Hydralisks, and looks like he's going pedal to the metal. He wants to end it. He wants to take that 4-2. He does not want to go to a game number 7. And can Timbo hold this time around? He's still got so much money, Timbo. Oh my god. Not like this. Observer, 2 of them finally out, but he still cannot see this attack coming his way. We've got lurkers coming as well. Just 1, actually. It's kind of funny. But more Hydras rallying across the map, and they will be able to turn into lurkers as well. What are these observers doing? You need to recognize that this attack is coming. And, oh, this is so scary. Supply favoring the Zerg player right now. Upgrades pretty even. Slightly favoring the Zerg as well. How can the storms make the difference? I don't know. That's a lot of lurkers morphing in right now. One saving grace is they do not have their hive upgrade just yet, but does it matter? Why does he have so many observers? What is this? Here comes Yellow now. He's gonna burrow his lurkers. They're gonna start sieging the front of the ramp here. First storm is good. Second storm is pretty good as well. But the lurkers, they inch forward, and can they seal the deal? The storms, not bad. Okay, it looks like he does repel the Zerg player for now. He does have to back up more for a few more lurkers. And oh, wait. Oh, caught slipping. And looks like all these lurkers gonna go down. Hello. Oh my god, Yellow Jello, what are you doing? Just donating his lurkers. Oh my goodness. Now he is forced to back out of that aggressive position. However, Yellow Jello is still in the lead right now. He's taking this gold base as his 5th base now. But the supplies have evened up quite a bit. It is mostly just Ling Bane here for Yellow Jello. The army supply going to be favoring the Protoss now for the first time in this game, I want to say. Lots of High Templars here. The Storms, of course, as always, going to be absolutely crucial. The 4 Observer hit squad, if you want to call it that. Not sure why he went for 4. That was maybe a panic. Just held down the Observer button. But the Baneling's going to crash into these Zealots, make light work of them. I do think Timbo is missing a little something in this army. We don't know what it could be. Maybe sentries, honestly. He's got so much gas in the bank. Some sentries for like the force fields. Maybe. Maybe some Colossus even. Colossus. Kind of just don't require too much thinking. Just have them in the back of your army and they just pew pew with their laser beams. But Yellow Jello now, he has remade quite a fearsome army. 112 army supply for the Zerg, and he is going for the 5th base now. He is wasting a little bit of time on the cannons, but he does shift his focus onto the Nexus, but then he abandons it, and now he goes back for it. He did use some Banelings on the Nexus as well. Very sloppy little attack, but he does take out the base in the end. Timbo very slow to react to that, I guess. Storms, Storms are spicy, but the Lurkers also quite spicy, and I feel like Timbo just kind of brute forcing these engagements, and oh, you can't really do that against Lurkers. 4 Lurkers still in the ground there, 5th one burrowing as well. And where's the stuff for the Protoss player? He has so much money, but where is the stuff? Oh my days. Not like this. Immortals going to take out a few of the Lurkers. There are still 2 there, and you really gotta focus those. Oh, Timbo taking so many losses there. Looks like he might be able to defend. Yeah, not really too much left here from Yellow Jello. He does have to wait for his reinforcements, and his bank has kind of dried up. So if Timbo can spend his freaking money, bro. That's a lot of Lurkers morphing in right now. 8 of them, to be exact. And I'm not sure what Timbo has to defend against this. He might have to give up this base as well, but if he does that, he might as well give up the game. I'm going to try to reclaim that base now. I don't know if Yellow Jello is going to allow that to happen. And oh, the Lurker is just going to burrow right in his face, and I think that is going to be it for this series, as the Spines just crushing everything in their wake. Timbo, no cancel on that Nexus either. He is just running out of options here. If he had spent his money earlier, perhaps, but GG gets called, and Yellow Jello gonna take the series 4-2.